Oh, see, I say this every time, but Susan and coming and Yona coming, it just makes me happy. Um, I'm an introvert about 90% of the time, and then the other part of me just celebrates this community. So, um, so I was thinking about our time together today, and many of you know me well, so I was like, okay, well, we need, I need some poems, and we need some, and my brain is going. And then yesterday I went to the stable. I've moved my horse to a new stable and it backs up to a state forest. And we have 51 miles of trails. And I can go out there and it's my highest form of peace. I'm just so filled up with that. And then I came back. And so what I do when I ride lots of times is I just do lists of gratitude because it just kind of bubbles up. And and I got back to the stable and there's a horse I don't know well, but they've offered for my partner Blaine to be able to ride him. He's a big thoroughbred and a little bit of a wild guy, but Blaine can be too. And um, he was colicking and and he was down and he was clawing the ground and uh he was suffering and I they were they'd called three vets and no one was coming yet and I said do you mind? I mean the owner wasn't there, so I said, do you mind if I go work on him? They're like, no, please do. And he's down on the ground and he's in pain, so you have to stay away from those legs. Um, but I went in and colic. So colic is a waistline project. Stuff is stuck here. So where do we go if something is stuck here? Don't all scream. Oh, come on, you know this.
14?
You're 14 is where it's stuck. So what am I going to do to help it?
Gonna go above and below it.
Bam. And what I did was go below because I wanted to pull it down. I wanted to get stuff moving. So I went to his one and his 516 for pain relief, one prime mover, 516 pain relief. And I'm trying to, not trying to, maybe I was trying to. I was trying to not be trying to. And I'm holding that and um, you could see his breathing was labeled, his eyes were rolled back. He wasn't good. And I stayed there just 2 or 3 minutes. And then I felt on those 14s, and he's a horse who's normally quite thin. And he was bloated. He was, you know, and so and he was pawing the ground a lot. So I went around from behind him. He's lying down. And I held 23 and 25 again to pull things down and get stuff moving. 23, controller of my destiny. 25, gently and calmly regenerate and rejuvenate. Stayed there about a minute or two, and he went like, and he stood up, labored, but he stood up and he walked in a circle. Not everybody talks about this on their Zoom calls for Christmas, but and then he pooped. Big, green, unfirm poop. And then he circled again slowly so I could keep holding 23, 25. And then he had gas. And then we took him to the round pen. So in case he went down again, he wouldn't get his legs stuck in the stall. And um, because of the gas, I thought this was gallbladder flow. So I did that anchor of gallbladder, 12 and 20. And he put that big old head on my shoulder. So I did a total of 3 hand placements. Slowly, took about 20 minutes. He came out of it. He pooped again. He passed a lot more gas. He went over, he drank water. We had put minerals in there because that helps with colic. And then he started eating grass. And I went out, came back in a little bit, and he came over. He doesn't really know me. He came over and put his head on my forehead. And I was so thankful and so touched and so filled with that idea I have all the time. That's everybody in the world should know this. It's not weird, it's not woo woo, it's not exotic. It's about down the front and up the back. And um, Jude, I'm going to let you check this if you would. Um, and Yeah, so thinking about something exciting to do for this class, it dawned on me, I don't want to do something exciting. I want to talk about the basics. So that's where my head is at right now. Um, uh, Anybody have um, thoughts or times when they've been able to have the simplicity kick in for them? I'm going to hop out of view and go to gallery for a minute. Yes. Yona is saying something I got. Oh, she got butted off. We're glad you're back. Yeah, everybody's. So, all right, I'm going to take a moment and jump out and tell you this. So, down at least on my page, down at the bottom, you'll see a lovely woman named Mara Nimanis. And Mara, hi there. You'll learn not to come on. So Mara is one of my oldest friends in the world, and she has a dog recovering from ACL surgery, as is Bob. And when I thought about all this, as does Jude, although he's further ahead than our guys, um, you know, inside the knees are the ones, the prime mover taking us forward. And I thought, wow, this is all about those basics too. I was glad you're able to hop on, Mara. And Mara is the only person on here who you've all heard the stories, but she's the only one who was there for this. M- Um, so, Mara, my mama gave me this my first Christmas with Amitai. So it says, it might be backwards on there, deck the halls with bows of collies. So anyway, and I realized, okay, so this makes my sweatshirt 36 years old. But come on, how often do you wear it at Christmas? It doesn't get worn out, you know. But Mara knew my mama and Mara knew Amitai. Uh, yeah. So anyway, thoughts about the basics, thoughts about how you think about the art that takes you back. Yes, Michelle, my dear.
Well, I'll just take it back to how I found this art, just a year and a few months ago. So I'm very much a baby to this art, and it was the basics that made me fall in love with it. The simple main central, and then doing the 15 and 2 to clear my arthritic hip. Um, Within a matter of weeks, I felt younger, stronger. My legs were balancing out for the first time in my life because I've always had one leg shorter than the other. Um, it was just a miracle in a matter of weeks after going to chiropractors and doctors and for a matter of years, and they couldn't do anything. And so I fell in love with the simplicity of it because number one, it's free. I can do it myself. I can do it anytime. And it's relaxing.
Yeah.
Can't beat
Yeah. Michelle and Mara, you are within miles of each other, by the way. And
it.
yeah, Michelle Roberts going to work on her dog this afternoon.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and this is where we all sing It's a Small World after all. So, oh, oh, Constance, wait, just before he went out of the room, it was a very good costume. Are you gonna let us? Oh, oh, it's even better than I knew. Oh, a little camera shy. It happens. Oh, that's great. And there's our gorgeous Susan. Oh, we love you. Hi, Wonder Woman. Hip hooray. Hip hooray. Oh, um, yeah, Michelle, that's that. When I think about, I mean, there's so many wonderful modalities, so much great energy work out there, so many wonderful Western medical practices, but very few of them allow you to do it on yourself. And to me, that is just the sockdologer, you know, that I have it with me at all times. So, uh,
Can I share one then? That
absolutely.
the simple is that after my surgery for on my knee, and I was taking the pain meds that I need, but I was having gym because it was hard for me to reach my ankle, hold my 516, and for a little while. And that night, I was able to relax more and get to sleep better. So
Absolutely.
simple, so
So
simple.
simple. Yep. Yep. Yeah. That's you get exotic, you know, like people usually get introduced to it somehow, and then often they start with a 5-day basic course. And it's phenomenal. I've taken it 48 times. However, by about day three, usually your head is swimming and you think, oh my gosh, I'll never memorize these all. And that's so not the point. Um, that simplicity, that 516, hold the ones, you know. So, um, so I thought we'd do yes, what Yvonne, was that a comment? No, it was a hand movement. Okay, okay. Susan, I think you have to tell us who this is.
This is Sadie, but she's now decided to be camera shy.
Okay.
Come
Is
on.
this one of
Sadie's
the quote Fosters?
um no, this one we actually adopted, but she led to the three other fosters. Failed fosters, we'll say. And I'll
Really?
introduce
All three?
all yeah, they failed. It's terrible. They're all still here.
I'm
Can
so
you imagine
sorry.
how that happened?
I have no idea. Yeah.
I'm following in your footsteps.
Is
I,
she a, is she a boykin?
She is a Bernedoodle. So she's 75% poodle, 25% Bernese Mountain.
Isabel, is yours somehow related? Is yours a doodle?
No, it's like a
Okay, okay. And but Constance is yours?
Yeah, Henry is a Santa Henry is a standard poodle.
Okay. Okay.
And I wanted to
Interesting.
say, talking about simplicity, he's had a cough just going forever. Oh, you can hear it now. But I found the most effective is really that simplicity, the 10-13. You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and I've tried all sorts of different things and that just really seems to help. And then also I wanted to say that one of my a human friend, I was going in for
We can have them too. It's okay.
was going in for an operation, and so I did the 15 flow a few times, and she doesn't know anything about energy medicine. It's just kind of like, you know. And anyway, she keeps saying, "Wow, I just recovered so fast." And the doctors this and that. And I said, I know, Sue. I've been doing this. Yeah, everybody I do this to before they go in for a procedure or operation say this, and the doctors and the nurses too.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah. Well,
that's always
15
nice to hear from somebody who
who
isn't really a
doesn't know it. Yeah.
believer. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought, speaking of simplicity, we would do a little centered breathing together. And I thought, how about continuing that idea? And let's be simple. And then we'll look at all of the things it does in the simplicity. So one of the most used quickies in all, certainly in all of self-help book 2 is 19 at the elbow, power and authority, and inside on our theme of the knees, inside the opposite knee, just to the side of the knee and just a smidgen up, safety energy lock 1. So 19 and 1. And because you're working on both sides of the body, you're implementing something called the mediator flow, which means it's going to help every cell of your being. And it balances the past and the present, the masculine and the feminine. And let's have 9 breaths here. And then, just to be slightly exotic, we're going to go like 1 palm distance up from the elbow up here to the back of the bicep, and from inside the knee, 1 palm distance up to what we call the high 1. Usually it's good and tender. You don't really have to wonder if you're right or not. Your hands will tell you. And we'll do 9 breaths in each place, and then we'll switch sides and do 9 on the opposite side. Yes? Um, and one more thought, we'll go right there. Uh, it has when if you look in the animal book, you can see that this is one of the most efficient quickies there is. It is helping safety energy lock 1, 10, 14, 19, 20, 21, and 22. I mean that's not bad for a one hand position. Yes. So get yourself comfy. You can start whichever side you like. I'm starting with my right hand on my left elbow, left hand inside my right knee. And cross legs. Have them straight as you choose. And without manipulating it or changing it, just follow that pattern of breath down the front, letting go. A space at the bottom of the exhale. And when you're ready, up the back, up the spine, receiving over the head, and let it exhale down. And when you've completed 9 breaths, let your hands move up about 1 palm's distance to a high 19 and a high 1. And still it's about power and authority, but here it's on the level of the bust line, so it's our spiritual aspect of power and authority. And that 1 takes us forward and amplifies whatever it is that we're holding with the other hand. And notice the quality of your touch. Are you holding this being the way you want to be held? And when you finish 9 breaths, let's switch over and hold same on the right elbow, left inside knee. And explore that breath. Are you holding on anywhere? Can you let the breath breathe you? And again, after 9 breaths, move up 1 palm's distance on both the arm and inside the leg. And then see where you land. So, it's such a busy time of year. There's so much going on. It's luscious to have a moment to relax together. Any observations or thoughts going through? Yes, Nancy.
It just reminded me of how I've learned from you and from others. Yes, I was overwhelmed by my first 5 days. Coming from a science background, I needed to memorize everything, and I was just in a whirlwind. I learned from Reiki, just do it, get out of the way, and let your intuition, don't try so hard. And I learned from you, from working on the animals, that you really can't put your hands in the wrong place. The body's intelligence will adjust, knowing what the intention is.
Boy,
And it just reminded me when we were all sitting here doing that together that there's no really wrong thing we can do,
right.
except to not put our hands on someone.
Yeah, yeah. Or to rush in and put your hands on when you're not centered.
Centered, right?
I mean, with the people, you might get away with it, but the animals will know.
They will not let you. They will not let you. Nope, not having it. So thank you. Thank you for reminding us of that, because it's so important.
Yeah. So I was just thinking again of in my human classes, lots of times we have I don't mean human, I mean in person, that we have a handout that I love because it's the only thing I have in Mary's handwriting. And then on the other side, it's typed out so you can even read it. But that page is called The Basics. And to just go over those. I'm sure we know them, but it's never bad to hear them. So Mary tells us, as above, so below. The reason this is a big deal with the animals is if uh say you're working on a dog with a toothache and you want to go here, maybe right hand down, left to cover, and left hand down, right to cover to pull that out, you stand a fairly good chance of getting bit. But as above, so below. I'm going to go to the opposite hind ankle as a pain reliever and to pull that energy down. Because if there's congestion here, it means there's an energetic deficit down here. So I'm going to go to the opposite bottom of the body to pull that energy down, which will make this flow better. Yes? What if you had a right sprained ankle? Where might you go? Lovely. I saw Nancy. I would go to the opposite wrist. Exactly. Yeah. Remember in elementary school when they would make you do like this kind of exercises? That's the relationship. This corresponds to that leg. Yeah. She also says if you got a bellyache, if it's right here and it's sore, as in front, so behind. So that's why with that horse with Major yesterday, I went to 2325 to clear out the belly. He was hard in the front. Um, and then we have mediator, which says everything blends. They call that the field of grace, which takes us back to what Nancy was saying. That's the you can't do it wrong flow. Mary says you can be more efficient in your thinking, but you can't really be wrong if you stay with it with the right willingness to be present, to be out of trying tos, and wait for those pulses to clear. You're gonna go closer to harmony. And like Hazel, if you're wearing fancy Christmas socks while you do it, it's all the more fun. So, yeah, other thoughts about simplicity?
You were talking about as above, so below, and holding
Yes,
the 516 to bring that energy down.
yes.
And I was once helping a friend with her mother, and her mother was trying to die and fading in and out. And the daughter had not had a break in days. And so I went over to stay with her mom, and she took off for a hike. And immediately the mom was just in horrendous pain. And I stood at her feet and held her 516s all day.
Wow.
And while I held them, she was perfectly calm.
Yeah,
And if I let go, she was writhing in pain.
yeah.
Turned out she had another bladder infection, UTI. But I mean, it was just evidence to me of that particular aspect.
And when you look at 516, 5 is about putting off the old to make room for the new. 16 is a deeper version of that, breaking down the old to make room for the new. They're both about transformations. And that's what she was going through. So, bravo. Yeah, simple. You don't, people go, I didn't have my books with me, so I didn't do anything. You get no brownie points for that. You know, do they have an elbow? Do they have a wrist? Do they have fingers? You know. Um, all right, now. Hello, Monica. Welcome. I bet you it's cold up there, huh? Okay, now the moment you've all been waiting for. Dum da da dum. Let's see if we can get him to turn around. Here's my foster fail. Um, uh, we were, I was looking for a small female dog. So it tells you what I know. Anyway, I knew I was kind of done in when I don't tend to shop, and I like ran into a store to get a little, and I found this, which you'll see in a moment, really looks like Bob. And I thought, oh, I think he's staying. Yona, my love.
Sorry, I'm not on camera because I'm having Zoom issues. But anyway, I have a question. I mean, I know we've gone over this a gazillion times, and I've done this 516 gazillion times. I'm working with my mother. She had tooth extraction. Her face is black and blue. She's had no pain, but the black and blue is there. So that's good. At least no pain. But
Right.
I wanted to clarify something, and maybe I already know the answer, but pain and inflammation. This is the body. 516 is the aspirin, or considered the aspirin. So is the 16 for pain and the 5 the inflammation, or is it the reverse? Doesn't matter.
They work together.
Work together.
Um,
Okay.
and don't forget the 17 for
Right.
relaxation of mind and nerves.
Yeah.
Usually teeth stuff has to do.
Right. Right.
And 17, you're going to work the same side
Ah,
as the pain, and 516, you're going to work the opposite.
got it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I just was curious because I do this all the time and I love it. But then I'm like, well, wait a second. No, is the one side? Mm-hmm.
Well, you could look at it this way. 5 lives in the second depth.
Right,
16 lives in the third depth.
right.
So still, it takes me back to yes, because 5, if it's in that second depth, if it's connective tissue where there's inflammation, 5's
Mhm.
going to help it.
Right,
But if you need more blood flow to get that moving, 16 is going to help it.
right. Yeah, makes sense.
We're so blessed. So, all right.
Yeah. Thanks.
I'm gonna see. Hi, Mr. Man. How's my big boy? Hi. Hey, can you sit up so they could see you? Oh, he's very treat motivated. Bob, here. But I would like him to turn around so you could see where he had his surgeries. Come on, Bob, Bob. Yeah. Oh, over here. Okay. Boom, boom. We got it. I don't want to hurt that hip. Okay, you just want this. Let's see. Can mama go like this? Yeah. Boom. Oh, this is attractive. Well, here we go. Here we go. No, no, you're not turning. Okay. This will take us back to the old COVID days when the dog won't turn, will turn the bed. Now, none of these dogs were quite as big as this guy, however. So, this is Bob. He's he's wonderful. He came to he was our demo dog for my class at Aliqua um in in October. I can't believe it. I turned this around and he's still on the wrong hip. I guess you're not going to see his hip. I'll tell you about it. He was adopted from Aliqua as a puppy. He was brought back when he was just shy of 5. I don't know all the details. They were an army family. They got deployed, but he came in. I think partly it was financial. He came in with double hip dysplasia and a torn ACL. And so to do that surgery would have been very expensive uh, for a young family. And he's a really great guy, but he's a handful. And I can see how he ripped that ACL. So maybe you can see on here. Can you see? It's too far away. Anyway, his kerchief says Bob. They gave him that at the refuge. He was made for Jin Shin Jyutsu. He, from the first day in the first class, he just took to it. And as soon as you put your hands on him, he knocks out. When he's going, he goes about 100 miles an hour and he's strong. He's got this head like a bowling ball. One of its nicknames is Bowling Ball Bob because when he moves his head just because he's interested and he can he can knock you out. Uh, so, um, thinking about knees, it seems to be a topic which takes us back to the ones, which is about simplicity, isn't it? So, I guess I'll show you on the opposite side some of he's getting Jin Shin 3 times a day now, and then he gets stretches. He's not nearly as fond of the stretches as he is of the Jin Shin Jyutsu. But he's getting a great recovery. When we first got him, the reason he was the demo dog was because he wasn't recovering well from the surgery. He was about 4 weeks out and he wasn't putting any weight on his right leg. And they were talking about amputating it. So we said, well, let's see what we could do. And then somehow we brought him home the next week to continue that. And then I don't know. He was just supposed to get he was a medical foster, and here we are. So Same thing we've been talking about. I start most days with him with the one flow. I'm just literally, now this is not the knee that got the surgery, but he doesn't want to show that right now. So I'm just in the one, and I lay my hand big like that so that I'm holding 15 and 1 at the same time. Because that 15, I forgot who said that. Was it Alice? I think somebody mentioned they'd done 15 before a friend's surgery and they healed so fast. Anytime you hold that 15, you're lessening healing time. So I simply go 2, 15 and 1, down to that 5, 16. You gonna let me hold it? Okay. Oh, thank you. Wow. Okay. There's a 5, 16 for you. And then against all odds, he lets me hold that 7. And I tend this foot, the opposite foot, the surgery foot was really floppy. It didn't seem to have any texture, any sense of it. He didn't know where his foot was. So I would go into the pad and hold that 6. And that seems to have really helped. I'm going to see one more time if we can turn him over. What about you? He also, he has multiple costumes if you were to sit up. Yeah? You could show him your antlers? Okay. Okay. There's Bob with antlers. Pretty good, huh? Yeah. Okay. And then this one he really doesn't like, but we'll just try it for a moment. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. There's Santa Bob. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Let's see. I'm still going to try to get him to turn around. Here, sit up. Sit up. Good up. Okay, good. Here, up. Come on. Hey, hey, hey. Wow, he really he doesn't do this. He's just doing this right now. He doesn't want to. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Can I don't know if this will work. Yeah, no. Oh, thank you. There's that bowling ball mouth. Can I flip you over? You gonna let me? Yeah. Oh. Here we go. Here we go, Bob. Yay for Bob. Okay. Wow. Okay. This is the hip. um. Oh well. I don't know if I can get it close enough. Um. Good boy. I love you. Okay, you can see better there. So this is where they shaved part of the hip joint so it wasn't bone on bone. And when we got him, he had no muscle in that back, and this leg was just floppy. And now here's the trick. Working on him is usually a 4-person job. He's fine with the Jin Shin, but when I go to do his PT, then he likes to put your hand in his mouth. So if I'm just starting, oh, hi, baby. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, you don't have to demonstrate what's not the best. He doesn't bite, but he likes to put your hand in his mouth. And then, so after we do the Jin Shin, then we can, yeah, like I said, it's a 2-person job, but we're getting a range of motion in there. And warming him up with the Jin Shin first really seems to make a difference for him. And holding that 15 is shortening that healing time. I know there's some other folks whose dogs that need projects. Um, uh, Jude, anything to add to? I know.
Yeah, bladder flow was really magic
Yeah.
for Max, either side that he presented. Yeah, he really loves that.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, bladder is partly about the musculature too, and rebuilding that. And then it's the whole pathway. Um, uh, Thank you, big fella. So normally he's not quite doing all the things he usually does. Normally, after he gets his Jin Shin, this head is so hot, and then he takes it and he curls up and he puts it on top of his hip. And then that's why we call him Cinnabob, because he looks just like a cinnamon bun. So, all right, my fella, you're a great guy. So, meanwhile, uh, uh, yes, Nancy, is that a question?
I wanted to say that we had a foster cattle dog here last year. She ended up staying 9 months because she had an unexpected broken femur. And it took, she did not like the rehab at all.
Uh-huh.
But we found her whole body, all of the fascia was twisted and hurting because of how long she was astray with this just necrotic ball of her hip that just was ready to fall off. So we actually went to block therapy for her and learned techniques to work from the shoulders all the way down, because we could not even do what you did with Bob right now. She
Yeah.
screamed if we
Yeah.
came anywhere near that leg. So until you could probably tell everybody what flows to work, Jin Shin wise, but we actually had to go to the fascia itself and work on the fascia because she was so painful. Her whole body did not respond well. And
Yeah.
could not touch that leg until we got into shoulders, chest, the other side, the other hip, and eventually, and she is adopted and just living in a city and living her best life, thinking she's the mayor. But it took months and months and months because she was just so tortured with that fascia that was pulling. So that could be going on with him too, like
Well,
fascia.
he gets lung flow, and not the anchor step, but the second step of large intestine, all for that fascia and
Mhm.
and for those front shoulders. Because the front of him, there's my Cinnabob. Yay, good boy. Good boy. Um, what was I gonna? Oh, I had a client over in New Orleans who came in and she looked at him and she said, "Oh, I think he's part Rhodesian Ridgeback." And I went and did some searching around, and I think he is. He's got, one of the things is that he's got gold eyes, and that's one of the only breeds. So what I also learned is that they were bred to track lions, not kill lions, which is imperative because we're still working things out with the queen. And he has a very intense stare, but he doesn't actually attack her. Otherwise, he would not be staying. So, um, um, yeah, jumping back to this idea of the basics, of the fact that I think the art goes deeper when, sometimes I say it's about how simple can you be? So, a lot of friends that are on this call, I know you've been with me for a while and you know this work. So, this may not be applicable, but let me just throw this out to you. Starting January 24th, we are going to have a 7-week online class that takes you through the book, page by page, step by step, flow by flow. for dogs, cats, horses. Um, and then you get 3 months of replays, and we have 5 Zoom calls spread out during that to answer questions and practice and all that good stuff. So that's available on my website. Um, if you or any of your friends, you're trying to introduce them to the art, this is a fun, easy way. And don't forget, until December 20th, we have the BOGO on books sales in the US. So buy one, get one again at my website. So, sweet Yona.
Hi. Okay, back to fascia. Um, the woman that was speaking about this, to me, from my experience, this work is very much about fascia. And I think of the body as clay and the melting of fascia and the rearrangement of fascia. And we have flows in Jin Shin Jyutsu that deal with untorquing. So, I've done all kinds of stuff and I'm a practitioner in other modalities, but this one I feel when I get in trouble with my other modalities, I come back to Jin Shin Jyutsu and I get out of the pain that I've created for myself by overriding myself with this work. And I feel very definitely that this is for me, it's very fascial related. So I was wondering if you could speak more about that because it's really like a really big interest of mine. To me, fascia is everything in the body down to the blood. So it's,
Well, I, but I also think there's lots of different ways that dog was a stray and had
yeah,
certain amount of trauma. So, and what's more, they got to a really great place.
right,
So, bravo. Um, Yeah, for me too, my go-to is always Jin Shin Jyutsu. Once it's sometimes people offer other things, but don't fall out of the bed, big boy. Yeah. Um, but I think of second depth as
right,
all about fascia related.
right. And you were saying about that the large intestine, or was it the lung flow? You were just starting to mention
Well,
that.
I lung again because I had that breathing stuff. I go to lung very often, and it's easy to do as self-help.
Right,
Large intestine, she mentioned that that dog had so much tension in the
right,
shoulders,
right, right, right,
and large intestine is my go-to for shoulders.
right,
However, anchor step is not fun on a dog, so I go to the second step.
right, right. Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, is it and it's just so glorious that we live in an age when a dog with that many issues could get help and
Sure,
that
sure.
someone would foster them for 9 months and do
Yeah,
all that work.
yeah.
Bravo.
I
Mm.
just am sort of high on this whole fascia thing and how this work can impact. So when we talked about, the issues are in the tissues, this is like everything, all the attitudes in the body. So for me, the undoing, the unraveling, this is so amazing. This work is magical.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Um, Thinking about the foster, Nancy, as an ongoing, Susan, this doesn't apply to you because, of course, you just keep them all. But I am hoping in the spring, one of my goals is to see how how we can get this work, even the very basics, even like someone said with the coughing going back to 10 and 13, how we could bring this into rescues on a more widespread basis because I have seen dogs and cats and horses to a lesser degree get worked on once, get touched, get that 13 and 10, maybe a half an hour of just that. And their little personality shows, and bam, they get adopted. And so, if you work with rescue organizations, I'm going to say please be in touch because haven't pieced together all of how this is going to work yet, but that's something that I'd like to bring together in the next year, in the new year. So, uh, Yeah, I'm gonna hop out here and go back to gallery. Maybe. There we go. Fantastic. Sue, look it. There you are. Wow. See, I'm telling you, I love Zoom.
Hi, Adele. I thought I'd pop in and say thank you to you and
Well,
tell you,
without your elf costume on, I don't know.
hey, I just picked up my phone and she said, join me for Zoom. And it was like 45 minutes ago you sent that email. So I just thought I'd pop on and tell everybody else I am that's in this call. She's the most amazing woman, Adele, and I so appreciate all that she's done. And it's curious to see Bob in his new role, and
Yeah.
he's a big boy, doesn't quite fit the bed.
Well, he folds up pretty well. Yeah, I had
Folds
car trouble yesterday. They gave me a courtesy vehicle. And first
Uh-oh.
you have to sign something saying no animals in the car, which I'm like, that's what sheet covers are for. But I'm not sure how I'm fitting them all. I'm not sure. So he's a big boy.
All in good time. I have a 3-year-old golden retriever with me now, and this boy is a busy dog.
Uh-huh.
It's a big change from having a sick dog in your world who doesn't go very far very fast to, oh my goodness, I need to step up my game. But I thought maybe not to make it anything to do with me, but I use your work all the time, Adele, and it is the anchor and the rudder that I use in terms of trying to decide what I need to do for myself or for my dog. And I just needed to make sure I had said that to you personally.
Oh, yay. Yay.
Yay.
You bring me a lot of joy. I was just thinking about you and that elf costume just the other day.
I brought the Christmas stuff out and I saw it and I thought, oh, I should probably bring that up and my office world, my Zoom office world, that wouldn't go.
Well,
Turning up in an elf costume.
we're more thankful to see you than even the elf costume.
Yes, indeed. I miss you. I miss the work.
Mm, come play anytime.
Come play anytime.
Ah, well, anybody else have questions or thoughts or things we should touch on before we finish up? Um,
I do.
yes.
Should I just send you an email? Because I have there's like 900 people in our cattle dog rescue that I would love to get on a Zoom call with you.
Yeah, we
Oh,
can
yeah.
absolutely. It probably not before the new year. I have
Right, of course not.
kind
Yeah.
of I
But
have a
should I
kind of
email?
stepson, but yeah, the email is pretty basic. You could probably guess it. It is Adele JSJPets@gmail.com. It's on the back of the book, and I think it's on all the emails and
Okay, I have a lot of your books.
and you can get more before December
I'm
20th.
I'm sure I can. Okay, great. I will be in touch because I would love, it's hard coming from me to people who know me, within the rescue, and I'm that person that does weird stuff. But if you come in with your professional, aspect, it looks different than me.
Well, when I was an actor, we used to say a professional is someone from somewhere else. You know. So, all right. How about uh yeah. How about oh dear, Claire got the time wrong. Well, we'll just welcome her. Uh let's see. Um, Hi there, Claire. I'm hoping you can hear us, but I'm afraid we're just finishing up. Um, I think you got the time wrong. But I did record it and I will be putting it up on YouTube. And so I don't think the replays are as much fun as being together, but thanks for joining. Um, so uh, this one just kind of struck me as a good holiday, and it's back from our old poet friend, Saint Tukaram the Gentle, for whom my big boy, Saint Tukaram the Gentle Jr., was named for. So this is called My Lucky Rock. Also, the first line is inspired by Bob and his prey instinct. I said to a squirrel, "What is it that you're carrying?" And he said, "It's my lucky rock. Isn't it pretty?" I held it and I said, "Indeed." I said to God, what is this earth?" And he said, "It's my lucky rock. Isn't it wondrous?" Yes, indeed. So, my friends, I thank you for joining and for this community. And may the new year bring you peace and health, and stay in touch. Bye-bye now. I'm going to turn off the recording.